Finding a phone in a car isn't that unusual anymore, except when it leaves the car for greener pastures, the high seas, or a leisurely lunch. Radio Shack keeps you in constant communication with their affordable, transportable cellular telephone.
Hello? Oh, yes, he's right here. It's for you.
Yes, I heard about the merger. Buy 100 shares.
Hands up from anybody who had a brick. All right, it was simply the shack to those who worshipped at the front door of every store, the only place to purchase those diodes, transformers, and everything that made being an electronic geek fun. But the shack is soon to be no more, a generation wiped out by solid state in the advent of cheap electronics. Wipe away a tear. Welcome in from the Society to Advance Financial Education, focusing on today's news in Bulls, Bears, and Bucks. Steve Beaman joins us. Steve, did you put your hand up when I said put your hand up if you had a brick?
Well, I had to laugh because I got my start in computers at Radio Shack back in the days of the TRS-80. So I have a little piece of my heart that warms up when I hear that name.
But this was something that we all expected. Radio Shack pretty much missed the boat on a lot of marketing, a lot of products. They tried to keep a niche, but the niche simply was no longer to be had. It passed them by. Now they're going to do what? Half stores sold and shut the rest, right?
That's exactly right. They fell victim to, as you and I have talked, these disruptive technologies that make the internet a more viable place to buy electronics. The techno geeks of today don't go down to the local Radio Shack. They go online. And that really has cut into their business. And to your point, they've missed a number of major moves. And I think that's, management there has made some mistakes. And now the shareholders are suffering for it.
What about Amazon? Because apparently in the deal, they're going to sell half the stores to Amazon and the rest they will just go ahead and shutter. This is interesting because this does not lead now to the brick and mortar concept for Amazon, which completely goes against how they were originally founded.
I got a kick out of that. Sometimes what goes around comes around. And now Amazon's going to try to make this move into bricks and mortars. I don't know if it'll work. Amazon's trying to keep their brand vibrant and alive in the face of global competition. We'll see how they do with it. But I suspect it's going to be a very expensive move by Amazon that won't pay off.
There you go. All right. Talk about expensive. UPS is adding a residential surcharge for packages after a disappointing fourth quarter. Steve, they're going to get you one way or another. I swear there's no such thing as free pickup anymore. You're going to get a couple extra bucks if you want to have somebody pick up at your house.
Well, and didn't you and I just talk about lower gas prices,
yes, we
reducing
did.
Costs?
Yep.
So you got to wonder what UPS is doing here. I think, again, they live in a world that doesn't have a huge amount of competition. The post office tries, but they're not going to do anything. So UPS is saying, here's a way at the margin we can squeeze a little more money out of these retail deliveries. They did get hit really hard at Christmas, once again, with last-minute shipments. So they missed some Christmas deadlines. But, they're trying to recapture just like the airlines charge you now for a bag. They're trying to nickel and dime it. I think for UPS, they're okay with it. There's really nowhere else to go. But in the long run, it does affect the brand.
Speaking of where to go, I don't know why, but something told me a while ago that Google would get involved in the ride-sharing business, seeing as they have their own cars now without drivers that they're testing. Now they're going to go compete with Uber. This is, I don't know why, but this is fraught with all kinds of dangers. There's lawsuits with Uber here, whether or not it really works, even whether it's profitable.
Again, Ed, you're hitting these disruptive technologies. Uber launched a competitive thing with taxi cabs, and they've done pretty well around the world, except for a few occasions when somebody gets beat with a baseball bat. But for the Google folks to move into this just makes me wonder if a mega conglomerate like that can really thrive. There is some level of specialization in business, and Google now has their hands in every part of our lives. I wonder if they'll be able to make this go. I highly doubt it.
And also, Google is one of Uber's biggest investors. So I think that's sort of like the old gambler's way. You kind of hedge your bets on all this one way or another. About a minute to go. Here we go. Staples and Office Depot to merge. Wait a minute, Steve, I thought this thing had been in the works now for a long time. I mean, I thought it was a fait accompli about a year ago.
Yeah, this is an old story. Staples has been trying to do this to extend their reach. They're a lot bigger, a lot better received than Office Depot, but regulators now are looking at it saying, maybe we'll let this go, where several years ago, for anti-competitive reasons, they wouldn't. But Ed, the interesting theme through all of these stories, again, are these disruptive technologies. Staples and Office Depot are trying hard to compete with the internet, and the only way they can do it is to reduce cost, and that's what they're hoping this will do.
And they've got everybody else who's selling office supplies now, from Walmart to Target to I think you can buy some at Home Depot now, even if you'd like. So it's
you can.
Exactly. See, but then again, it's up to us to continue to bring this to the fore and make people aware of what's happening and give them the reality of the situation. I am going to miss going to Radio Shack. Ah, well, no more building radios.
You and me both. I had one across the street. I used to get all my cables there.
No more remote control cars from Radio Shack. Steve Beaman, the Society to Advance Financial Education. Always a pleasure, my friend. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Ed. Have a great day.
You too. Hey, it's all about the gas here in America and around the world, and one certain type of fuel could indeed be the most effective weapon against people like Vladimir Putin. Wait for it. MidPoint continues, where we question everything.